And that is a lot of people angry at Logan Paul. Wow. That's no news, is it? Not news to be angry at Logan Paul. I mean, everybody's kind of always continually angry at Logan Paul. But Tim Pool and a bunch of other right-wing commentators are angry at Logan Paul for a short speech he did, like, what was it, last year? About the Black Lives Matter movement and why it's important to be anti-racist. And this is apparently resurfacing right now and getting people very angry at Logan because it makes him, I think they've said it makes him look like a communist or like a racist advocating for racial discrimination. So let's listen to the segment that's over, a year old now, that is so disgusting. Let's listen to it quick.
Biggest learnings from all of this, and I'm embarrassed that it's taken me 25 years to realize this. It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yes.
Condemn those who feign superiority because of the color of their skin. Friends, hold friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, we must hold our authorities accountable. Police officers, politicians, policymakers. As Killer Mike said, bully the politicians at the voting booth. Make your voice heard. Attend a protest. Speak up against injustice. If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are fucking blind. You are delusional and you are part of the problem. I can count on 0 hands the amount of times that I have feared for my life at a routine traffic stop. That has never happened. Half of the reason I'm able to get away with some of my hooligan shit I do in my vlogs is because I'm a white kid. I'm confident that I do not have to fear for my life should the cops show up. Acknowledge and weaponize your privilege. I believe we're going to a protest today. You can bet your fucking ass I'll be in the front line. Knowing all this about America, its racially charged background, its inability to truly treat humans as equals, even after 244 years since its inception, we must now work towards finding the solution. And if you are an influencer or a celebrity friend of mine, I hope you are using your platform to continue to spread the message of solidarity and unity. I do not have all the answers, but I know we must now reverse engineer the system as a collective.
Now, while he laid it on pretty thick there, right? He was laying it on pretty heavy. Nothing he said was wrong. Nothing he said was wrong. Literally not a single thing he said there was incorrect. He basically said racism's bad. And it is not enough to simply be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. Because there's a difference between you seeing somebody do racist stuff and you sit there and do nothing, and you watching somebody do racist stuff and you stand up and you stop them. There's a legitimate difference there. And one of those actions allows discrimination and racism to perpetuate. The other one shuts it down. That's an important distinction to make. And him talking, I think the other thing that some people were a little angry at had to do with the comments he said about, what was it? That after 244 years, the United States is still unable to treat people as equals. Let's hear it again. 1 second. Let's see if I can find it again. Here it is.
Its racially charged background, its inability to truly treat humans as equals, even after 244 years since its inception.
The United States, after 244 years, is unable to treat people equally after its inception. That's not saying that one day it might not be, and it might be successful, and it be the actual equality dream that we all wanted in our liberty-loving pajamas every night we go to bed. But right now it isn't. One of the best statistics that I think shows this is death row. In the United States, you are much, much, much more likely to be put on death row if you're black than if you're white. And if the victim of the crime is white, you are much more likely to be put on death row than if the victim of the crime is black. Even though white people and black people use marijuana at similar rates, you getting booked for marijuana charges is a lot more likely to happen if you're black. Or we can look at how traffic stops occur during daytime versus nighttime. During daytime, black people are much more likely to be having routine traffic stops, done upon them than if it's nighttime. Then you see the statistics for white people and black people kind of even out. Why? Because during nighttime, you can't see the color of their skin. And if you got a problem with any of the things that I just said, I could spend all day listing other statistics. I could talk about the rampant income inequality in the United States across racial lines. I could talk about the studies showing that if you go to apply for a job with a stereotypically black name in comparison to a white name, even if you have the same qualifications, you're less likely to get a call back due to the stereotypes our society has placed upon black people. So yes, after 244, going on 45 years after its inception, the United States is still unable to treat people equally, truly equally. What he said here is 100% right. So I want to see what else people had to say about this that got them so angry. First, let's see what Tim Pool had to say about it. Logan Paul announces that he is a white supremacist and wants to use white privilege to engage in active racial discrimination. So I think this has to do with the fact that Logan Paul did say that, hey, I have white privilege, and I think it could be useful in protests, because it is less likely that they're going to use violence against me as a white person, probably at a protest, in comparison to black people. That's what he was saying. He was not advocating for white supremacy, and he was talking about using white privilege to get an active benefit. Because he knows that since we know how the criminal justice system treats black people in comparison to white people, if he gets arrested at a protest, statistically, he's more likely to come out squeaky clean. And if you want me to cite anything for that, the death row numbers I cited earlier. Notice how Logan Paul reads this script as if it is a mystical spell or incantation, a belief that by repeating the magic words, he is performing some metaphysical act. So, I don't know what Jack Posobiec's trying to hint at here. If he thinks that it's all performative, well, I mean, he read from a script and was trying to make it passionate, yes. But Jack, you're one of the guys, with the rest of the guys, who wants to sit kids down every morning and have them say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which I have no problem with. But is that some mythical, mystic spell and incantation where if we say it every day, then that all people are equal under God, it'll just magically happen? Or what about if we all just boo the black people taking a knee during the football game, it'll magically make them go away and make racism disappear? No. He is just simply explaining what are basic concepts you have yet to understand. I don't understand why people are going to get angry at Logan Paul for one of the few things that he said that is actually correct. One of the few things he did, which you actually shouldn't be angry at. This is like somebody bringing up Bill Cosby, even though, of course, Bill Cosby and Logan Paul are not equivalent, and you saying, my biggest problem with Bill Cosby is I didn't like the quality of the pudding pops. Personally, I think that we could talk about Logan Paul's history in the suicide forest or any other number of incidents. Why would you get angry at one of the few things that Logan Paul has said that actually make sense when it's almost also like a year old? So strange. You just like his boxing matches? Unironically, I do believe the Paul brothers are actually a good thing for boxing. I know a lot of people who like boxing purists are like, well, it's terrible because, we're giving highlight to these people instead of a lot of much better up-and-coming stars. That's true, but it's also bringing new eyes to boxing from a younger generation that I think boxing desperately needs to continue to maintain profitability as a combat sport. Anyway. I just don't understand all the anger on this one. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, Logan Paul getting canceled for an anti-racist message. Anyway, whatever. Seems like a perfectly fine thing to say. It seems like people are just angry at him because I don't know. Like the thing is, did Tim Pool ever tweet about the suicide forest? I want to know. Because if the fact that he's more angry about him saying this than him recording him once he tried to hang himself, man, that's terrible.